All right. Sounds like I've got Norman the Cricket. He's my unofficial mascot here in the studio tonight. I wanted to ask you about your empathy. How's your empathy lately? Here, Norman the Cricket, unofficial mascot of The Last Symptom. Empathy. Now remember, emotional disorders don't allow for authentic empathy. If you're new to The Last Symptom, you're flopping around on the ground right now going, oh, what? No, he's so wrong. Uh, well, there's two types of people. There's the type of people who want to know more about that and maybe see if maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, because remember, I had borderline personality disorder, and and I also believed that I had authentic empathy. I didn't. You don't either if you're living with an emotional disorder. And then there are people who, as soon as I say that, they just ears go off. They don't want to hear anymore. They go off and they live the rest of their lives unhealthy. So which one will you be? Emotional disorders don't allow for authentic empathy. And if you want to know more about that, you can listen to the Last Symptom podcast. Skip ahead. You don't have to listen from 1 to 100. Skip ahead to the episode that talks about that. If it doesn't allow for authentic empathy, what are people experiencing who think they're experiencing empathy? Well, they're experiencing a self-serving, unhealthy, false approximation. I've explained why and the reasons behind that. But really, I wanted to tell you a story about my little girl when bringing up this subject of empathy. She loves video games, and so when she was a little girl and I was setting up her iPad, I had created a username for her so that she could play online and all that stuff. I think she was 3 or something like that. And the username I set up for her was my stinky little gal. Now, that's not the real name I set up for her, but I'm not going to tell you the real name I set up for her because there's a lot of disturbed individuals out there, and I'm not going to put my little girl in harm's way like that. But that's close enough. I had come up with this username for her called my stinky little gal. And when I did it, it was an expression of affection, and she laughed at it. I laughed at it, and I would call her that. Hey, come here, Stinky, and stuff like that. Now here's what happened. The older she got, she's 6 now. Now I didn't know that this was going on inside of her. I thought that she would always think of this username that I had created for her off the cuff affectionately, and would think, well, Dad made that for me, and it's affectionate and cute, and he loves me. But then one day, she was sitting on my couch, and I went over and sat next to her, and I said, hey, how's your games going and everything? Oh, Dad, I'm doing real good, she said. She showed me like some kind of wonderful goal that she had achieved and some kind of thing that she had achieved on the video games. I don't like video games. I've never been crazy about video games. I would always rather, I've always been the type of person who would rather be creating something rather than consuming something. And so that's just me. Anyway, I sat down with her and she said, yeah, been, look at this thing I achieved and everything. And I said, oh, that's really great. You must be very proud of yourself. And she said, well, I am. But she said, Dad, I'm a little embarrassed. She's 6. 6. She said, I am proud, Dad, but I'm a little embarrassed too. And I said, well, what do you mean? She said, well, because everybody online sees my name as my stinky little gal, and it's kind of embarrassing to me. Now, I could have said, oh, come on, get over it. It's cute. I created, it doesn't mean anything. But I didn't do that because what caught my attention was her feelings about it. It surprised me, and it was revealing to me. It was revealing to me that had she never expressed that to me, how was I ever going to know that she was feeling that embarrassment? So the fact that she shared that with me really caught my attention, and I said, this is inside of myself. I said, this is really important. She's revealing herself to me. This is an opportunity for me to understand and know my daughter even more than I do now. As our children grow, they evolve, don't they? Same as you and I did. And empathy will help you keep pace with that. Now, here's the problem with empathy. The minute you fail in it, you begin to cut off the openness that other people have with us. It's not just our children, it's anybody. You know, I remember calling my dad after my best friend Jordan died. He was the first person I called. Jordan had been killed in a car accident, and I talked to my dad for a while, and I was just trying to express myself and everything that I was feeling, and I could tell just the way he was responding, the way he was acting, that I was not getting what I needed. And I never made that mistake again. So my daughter's 6, and hopefully I passed this test. Her feelings mattered to me. They were very important to me. I said, I'll do whatever I can to change your name. You pick a good name. That's the name we'll use. And I don't care how long it takes me to figure this out, we'll do it. Oh man, she was so pleased. And now she's playing her video games, and life is good for her. It's good for me. I understand my daughter more. I've been thinking a lot about that, about those feelings of hers, and what that tells me about her. What can you learn from that example today and moving forward? Norman, for crying out loud, brother.